Oliver, if I'm to believe in the Judeo-Christian God, I have to believe in some kind of an afterlife and a judgment. Do you believe that for temporal sin that people would do within a lifetime measured in decades, that an eternal punishment is justified?
I think certainly that's the almost unanimous teaching of the Christian tradition. There's a minority report on the question of judgment that pushes in the direction of what's called universalism, the idea that everybody ultimately is saved. But the vast majority of the Christian tradition says that yes, the biblical tradition teaches that there's a separation between two sorts of people, those who are saved and those who are not saved. And the issue then is about who it is that's saved and whether you're a member of those people who are saved or not, and what happens to those people who spend an everlasting time in being punished in hell, and what the nature of that punishment is. I think it's important to say, though, right at the outset, that if one is to talk about hell, and of course it's a very unpleasant prospect to talk about hell, there's a distinction to be made between what we might call the infinite punishment thesis, in other words, the claim that the punishment that's served in hell is an infinite one, and the actual nature of that punishment, that the kind of form the punishment takes. Often in kind of lurid pictures of hell, the idea is that people are burning everlastingly. Isn't this terrible? How could God do this? He's a kind of tyrant. But it's no necessary part of the traditional doctrine of hell that the punishment takes a particular form. What is a part of the traditional doctrine is that that punishment is infinite. It goes on and on and on forever.
And is it irredeemable? Is there any chance that any one of those individuals can say, you know, I've had enough, I see the light, I would rather stop this, and I'm sorry, and repent, or whatever I have to do?
Well, again, the majority voice in the tradition is no, that this is a kind
I don't care about the majority,
breach.
I care about you. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, no, those who are in hell, my sense anyway is that those who are in hell are in there everlastingly, and that the punishment they serve is a punishment that goes on. Now, it may be that obtains...
And nobody, without exception, nobody's going to get out.
That's right. Nobody's going to get out. And
how does that make you feel?
Well, I guess sad in a way. I mean, but I think
what they've done is in less than 100 years, our universe is almost 14 billion years old, and that is not even a speck in the vast expanse of eternity.
Yeah.
And here we're dealing with what persons may do in their conscious life, which should be measured in a few decades at worst.
Yeah. No. Exactly. And I mean, one possibility here is that those who are in hell continue to sin, and so therefore you might have a punishment served for a certain period of time, but if you continue to act in an immoral fashion, then you continue to serve a subsequent punishment, and so on. And if you continue to sin, then that's what continues.
All right, Shalom. There's the brother Nahal from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwad, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. All right, I want to go into a lesson based on this clip you just saw, and I'll start with this. This is Proverbs 28:5, and it reads, "Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things." And what you saw was a Christian try to explain the hell doctrine to someone who had real good questions. All right. You know, he asked very good questions concerning why would the God of the Bible allow you to burn forever because of mistakes made in a lifetime of less than 100 years. And the answer is that the Lord never had a place called hell. When you go into Genesis, when the Lord created the heavens and the earth, it don't mention the Lord creating a place called hell, where people basically burn for eternity, for one lifetime. Matter of fact, let's go to the law, because that's another thing. When you deal with the hell that the Christians put out there, why didn't the Lord mention hell to the Israelites? All right, let's go here. This is Exodus 20:5, and it reads, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." Now, this is extremely problematic when you deal with the Christian idea of hell for eternity. This is the Lord telling the children of Israel that he's going to visit their iniquity or their sin upon their children in the third or fourth generation. So then you have to ask the question, all right, so when the Lord visits the children, are he sending innocent people to hell? All right, because visiting the iniquity is basically a phrase of judging the iniquity. And what you find out in its proper context is that you live, you die, and then you live again, and you receive a judgment. What you've sown in the earth comes back upon you. This is why you have people who are born blind, who are born maimed. Is that their only lifetime? So they're born for one lifetime, they're blind, and if they sin, they burn forever. This is the logic of Christianity, and this is why this guy was stuttering, trying to explain that type of logic, because it's not logic, and it's not biblical, most importantly. And Christianity has made people look at the scriptures as if it's folly, as if it's made up. And it's really just their interpretation, or lack thereof, I should say. All right, so let's read this again. This is Exodus 20:5. It says, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." So Christians would have to explain that. Why is the Lord saying that? Why didn't the Lord just say, if you go off, you going to hell? Why would the Lord give Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 on down, which is the curses for disobeying the Lord? Why wouldn't he just sum it up by saying you going to hell? If you disobey the law, you going to hell. This is a key indicator that hell as a doctrine is not biblical, man. They take some scriptures out of the New Testament and then just create a whole doctrine around it. When you understand the proper context of judgment, you live, you die, you live again. This is why the Lord is saying, I will visit the iniquity upon the children in the third and fourth generation, because that's when you come back. All right, now let's get an example in the New Testament. Let's go to John, the 9th chapter. All right, let's go to John, the 9th chapter. I'm going to start at the first verse. "And as Yahushua passed by," all right, and Yahushua is the one you ignorantly call Jesus. "And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Yahushua answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High should be made manifest in him." Now, the reason I bring this out is because the Lord would have rebuked them. It would not have made sense that the man would have been punished for the sins of his parents. And this is a very subtle understanding, because Yahushua didn't rebuke him. He could have said, you err not knowing the scriptures. You know, you only live one time. And we'll go to Ezekiel, the 18th chapter. The son does not bear the iniquity of the father, and the father does not bear the iniquity of the son. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Let's go there. And when you really understand the proper context of judgment, it makes the world around us more clear. Unto the pure, all things are pure. You understand why certain judgments go out on people. Why you have someone that's born in a particular condition. It's not their only life. This is not their first time being here. And this is why this guy was stuttering, because that's not logic. You live less than 100 years compared to the span of creation. And for that, those mistakes made in less than 100 years, you have to burn for eternity. That's off. That don't make sense, man. But then they'll tell us as Israelites that we bugged out. Stop it, man. All right, let's go here. This is Ezekiel 18. All right, because we just read John 19. And in John 19, the disciples asked, did the man sin or his parents? And instead of Yahushua rebuking him and saying, look, that's going off. He said, neither this man or his parents. Let's go here. This is Ezekiel 18. I'm going to jump down. Let's go to verse 20. Ezekiel 18 and 20. And it reads, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Now you have to ask yourself, going back to Exodus the 20th chapter in the 5th verse, it says the Lord would visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children in the 3rd and 4th generation. Now when you read this verse, it's saying clearly that the soul that sinneth, it shall die. Meaning the soul that sinneth, that's the soul that's going to be punished. The father's not going to bear the iniquity of the son. The son's not going to bear the iniquity of the father. The soul that sinneth is going to receive that punishment. Which means by default, those children that come back in the 3rd and 4th generation in Exodus the 20th chapter is the same spirit. What the world would call reincarnation. You live, you die, you live again, and you bear your iniquity. Even though they're going off in many ways, the Hindus and I forget the other one, but the concept of reincarnation is biblical. You don't reincarnate as a worm or a butterfly. This is why, let's go here. And you come back in your family line. You come back in your family lineage. According to your father's line, you come back in the 3rd and 4th generation in your father's line. You don't have a memory of your past or your future, per se, but you come back in your family's line in the 3rd and 4th generation. All right, let's get this as an example. This is Lamentation chapter 5 and 7, and it reads, our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Now, we just read plainly in Ezekiel 18 that the soul that sinneth, it shall die. It shall be punished. It shall die. So when they're saying we have borne the iniquity of our fathers, it's because it's the same spirits coming back. This is why we find ourselves as black, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, in 2024. The stigma of being black. If this was your only lifetime, would that be fair? Would that be fair, that stigma of being black? The scriptures call it a reproach. When you understand judgment in its proper context, these things make sense. These are questions that cannot be answered by Christianity based on the doctrine of hell. And this is beautiful through the Spirit because it gives us an opportunity to see the folly of Christianity without us dealing with them. Because this ain't even a discourse between Israelites and Christians. This is a scientist or whatever he is interviewing a so-called Christian and forcing him to back up what he's pushing out there. And this is why apostles, and Elder Yahshua comes to mind, tells us, hey, ask them questions, man. Make them answer questions. Because they home racking their brain trying to confound the doctrine, and they can't even answer questions in their own doctrine. How do you explain hell? Why is hell not mentioned to the Israelites when the Lord gave the commandments? When you understand hell in its proper context, it's the grave and it's a condition. The place of judgment is under the sun. All right, we're going to get that too. Matter of fact, I'll end it with that. This is Ecclesiastes 3:16 says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So under the sun is the place of judgment. Not some place underground where people burn forever, man. And this is why you notice Christianity and the Christian doctrine in general, they really stick to the New Testament. Because when you go precept upon precept from the old to the new, the doctrine of Christianity does not hold up in many cases. Hell is just one of many examples. Because you have to ask the question, why didn't the Lord mention hell in Genesis? Why didn't the Lord mention the creation of hell? Why didn't the Lord mention hell to the Israelites? They were the ones that received the laws, statutes, and commandments, which goes back to sin. Sin is the transgression of the law. Why is Paul saying the wages of sin is death? He didn't say the wages of sin was hell. Then you have to ask yourself, how are people born crippled, blind, deaf, dumb, their only lifetime? And if they blow it on this side, they got to spend eternity in hell? Come on, man. That don't make sense. And this is beautiful through the Spirit because, again, as we get closer to the end, the covering cast is being removed. And now you have people that aren't even Israelites asking questions that we ask these Christians. But we get written off because we so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then they see us on the highways and they perceive us to be ignorant men. But this is a so-called intelligent discourse, and he really can't answer the questions this guy has, man. The Wadi How by Shemal Shah, man. Matter of fact, I'm going to end it with this. What do you say? Wait, there's more. The Wadi How by Shemal Shah, man. The Wadi How by Shemal Shah. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6. I'm going to jump down to verse 28. And it reads, as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which has been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And now the world is finding out who the Heavenly Father actually is. And what you find out is that people don't love the Lord as he is. They love their imagination. They love their imagination of the Lord. Their fantasy of what the Lord is like. But Lord willing, we be a part of that number. The Lord has set up this ministry to reveal who the Lord actually is. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwad, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.